All right, let's go back one slide, and let's talk about the equation of a circle. On this last lesson, you either have a parabola and a line or a circle and a line. If you recall, the equation of a circle is in the form of x minus h quantity squared plus y minus k quantity squared equals r squared, where the center is hk and the radius is r. Now, the big deal about this is subtraction. You have to pull the h and the k out with that being subtracted. So if I have x plus 4 squared plus y minus 1 squared equals 16, what's the center? Negative 4 and positive 1, because what is being subtracted from x? That would be a negative 4. What's being subtracted from y? A positive 1. So you have to understand that when you pull the center out, it comes out opposite of what you would appear. What's the radius? 4. That's r squared, so it's going to be 4. With that said, we now are going to graph this nonlinear inequality. So what is my center, Jake? 2, 0, because nothing's being subtracted from y. Jenny, what's my radius? 3. So you're going to go over to 2, 0. Then to plot the radius, you go to the right 3, up 3, left 3, and down 3. What kind of circle should I be drawing? Dotted. So that same concept applies. So we'll change this to dotted. Okay. So now we're going to do a test point just like before. If I put 0 here and I put 0 there, I'm going to end up with negative 2 squared plus 0 is greater than 9. Is this true that 4 is greater than 9? No. So am I going to shade inside the circle or outside the circle? Why am I going to do outside? Because it's not true. Because I can't shade where 0, 0 is, and where is 0, 0? Inside. Inside.
Can't you just tell where to shade by the sign?
Well, how are you going to do that?
Like
because the circle is all encompassing. Pardon? You know what I mean? It's not like a line above or below.
Right. I don't know. I was looking at the homework and checking my answers in the back, and that was the pattern, right?
What pattern?
That, like in this case, yeah, that it's shaded outside, but if it was flipped around, that 9 was greater than the equation, then it would be shaded inside, for example. That was a pattern I was seeing. I'll keep looking.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure that.
So any questions on this part? Don't you think these are more interesting than what you did last night?
Yeah. Yeah.
Let's do another one. What is this center, Delaney?
1, negative 2.
Good. And what is this radius?
4.
Okay, so we're going to go over 1, down 2. And now we're going to go left 4, right 4, up 4, and did I do 4? And what kind of circle should this be? Got it again? All right, so if we put 0 here and we put 0 there, we get negative 1 squared plus 2 squared. Is that less than 16? 1 plus 4, true or false?
Yes.
So where do we shade now? Inside the circle. So my shading's going to be inside.
Wait.
Yes.
Why did you put x and y, why did you put 0, 0?
Why did I put 0, 0? I put 1, negative 2.
No, all like top.
For x and y, he's asking why you plugged in 0 for x and y.
Oh, because I did a test point. I plugged in 0, 0. I could have plugged in 5, 5. Or 10, negative 2. How do you plug in what? Well, I chose this ordered pair 0, 0 right there. You can do any point that's not on the circle. You pick the point you want. I find substituting 0 is a lot easier than substituting another number. Right, so when I get a true statement, that means I shade the area that
Okay.
contains it. Does that make sense? It's the same concept as yesterday.
All right.
Toby, if that didn't work, where would I shade?
The outside.
Yes. Okay. Any questions with this? All right. What kind of graph, what will this graph be? It doesn't have two squareds. It's a parabola. So if I start with my parent function, so this is good review on the parent function, what does this do to my parent function? Every point must go up 1 unit. Solid or dotted? So we're going to dot a line in here for my parabola. All right, so now we're going to pick an ordered pair. Toby, it can be anything. I'm going to choose 0, 0. The question is 0 greater than 1? True or false? No. So instead of shading where 0, 0 is, I'm going to shade the area where 0, 0 is not. So that's going to be inside the parabola. Now, if it had been true, we wouldn't have shaded the inside. We would have shaded where? Everything on the outside. Any questions? How do we know this is not a circle? Right, y is not squared. So you have to be able to graph a circle, you have to be able to graph a parabola, because our ultimate goal then is to come here. So now we have a system. So what's the top one? Parabola. So we're going to start plotting the parent function, and what do I do with these 4 points? I'm going to move them down 4. So this will move down here, 1, 2, 3, 4. This will move 4, this will move 4, and this will move 4. And then solid or dotted? So now I'm going to attempt to connect my dots. All right, so let's figure out where if we shade inside or outside. If we put 0, 0 in, is 0 greater than or equal to -4? So where are we going to shade? So we're going to shade inside. Okay, what's the next figure going to look like when we graph it? It has no squareds. It's going to be a line. And how do we get a line ready to be graphed? It's going to be y equals mx plus b. So what do you suggest we do? So negative y is greater than or equal to negative x plus 2. Now what? Okay, we're going to divide by negative, and that sign gets flipped. So now we're going to go to -2, and what are we going to do? Rise over run. Solid or dotted? All right, now, what do we have to do? If we plug in 0, 0, 0 minus 0 is 0 greater than or equal to 2. False. So I do not shade above, but I shade, and where will that intersection be? If I shade below this line. Right? Or it turned green, correct? So where's your answer? Right here, where it turned green. That is the shaded region. You don't have to highlight it. Highlight the answer. So you're going to need a highlighter Tuesday. Tuesday is your test, yes. And then Tuesday you have your first review assignment. Four. Okay, how do we graph this one? Matt, what's the center? How do we graph this one first? So we have negative y is greater than 3 minus x. Now what? So negative 3 plus x. So now what do you do? How?
Okay. -3.
And? What kind of line? Solid or dotted?
Oh,
That's true, it is a diagonal. What kind of equation is this going to be, Nicole? It is going to be a circle. Can you tell me its center? Okay, what's being subtracted from x? And what's being subtracted from y? And what is our radius? Yeah, what did we forget to do on our line? If we put in 0, 0, is 0 less than -3? True or false? So we're going to shade this side, correct? We'll put that on hold. All right. So now you're going to plot 0, 0, and we're going to do what kind of radius? 1, 2, 3. And solid or dotted? Dotted again. Is 0, 0 on the circle or inside the circle? So as long as it's not on the dotted line, yes, you can. So I'm going to put 0 here and 0 here. Is 0 less than 9? True or false? So that means I'm going to shade where? Inside that contains that. Where's the intersection? Won't that be the intersection? Because this is going down this way and the circle will be shaded inside. Any questions? Do you want me to project the book? Yes.
How did you put 0, 0 into x squared?
Because I always use 0, 0 if it doesn't.
No, I'm saying, why did you plug it into
Because I have to know where to shade. Do I shade inside the circle or outside the circle? You good? Any other questions?